been travelling through Malaysia on some epic food adventures. Today, I'm living it up at Sunway Lagoon in Kuala Lumpur, a one-stop place for fun with over 90 attractions spread over 6 parks. It's a kid's paradise with wave pools and rides in every corner. And there's even a massive wildlife park where you can get up close and personal with all the animals. Tell me a little bit about Sunway Lagoon.
Yeah, absolutely. Sunway Lagoon is perched on an 88 acres of land, and we have 80 attractions. Of course, one of that main attraction is right over here where we are at. Yeah. It is the wildlife park. We have close to 800 animals over here.
Wow.
And about 100 over species.
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah. Besides that, we have the water park. We have lots of rides. So this is one destination that you should stop over and enjoy.
The Sunway Lagoon is absolutely incredible, but there's also a luxurious hotel and resort here. And while I'm staying, I'm going to cook up a Malaysian staple. Kolo is a famous Malaysian dry noodle dish, originally from the north, but you can find it at so many different vendors here, and it is so delicious because, of course, it comes with noodles, it comes with dumplings, and a delicious savoury sauce. So let's do the savoury sauce first. This is my version. This one doesn't have as much dark soy in it. I like to use a combination of fish sauce, so about a teaspoon or so, depending on your taste, along with some light soy sauce. So we want to balance this out. We don't want it to be too salty because we do have the fish sauce in there. So about a tablespoon of the light sauce and some dark soy. And I love the dark, rich flavour of this. So we'll add about a tablespoon or so. You can see I'm free pouring a little bit, but it's all about balance. So I'll add some acidity, so some vinegar, and then we'll taste it at the end to see if it needs a little more. And some white pepper, pinch of that, a pinch of sugar. And the last ingredient I want to add to the sauce is some chili. Now you can just use plain chili oil, or you can find chili condiment now at supermarkets, and I love it because it's got peanuts through it. It's got the texture of chopped chili too. So we'll add about a teaspoon with that oil in there. We'll give that a stir and have a taste. Ooh, that is absolutely delicious. It's going to go so well with the noodles. Pop that to the side. Let's get on with the dumplings. So that's one duck breast, and I've finally chopped it, so it's been cooked already. If you can find some raw duck breast and chop it up, you could also use that too. To this, I'm going to add some really punchy flavours that you find a lot in Malaysia, just the classics. Ginger. They love ginger here in Malaysia. So a good teaspoon of fresh ginger. And we're just going to mince that along with some garlic. Tap that out. I always add just a small pinch of sugar. And I'm going to add a little bit of corn flour. This is just to bind it slightly. This is not a traditional dumpling mix at all, but it does work quite nicely with this dish. So a teaspoon or so of water, just make a bit of a thick paste, and we can add that. Now, if you didn't want to use duck, of course you could use chicken. I have done this with chicken before, and it does work quite nicely too. All right, we'll give that a mix. And the last ingredient, spring onions. We're just going to use the light and white part of this, and then we'll keep the rest for the garnish later on. In it goes. And another really good mix. All right, happy with that. Let's start making some dumplings. So we'll start by just using some classic wonton wrappers. We'll start with 4 at a time. You don't want them to dry out, so you do want to work fast. We'll add a teaspoon of our mixture to the centre. Be careful not to overfill them. And then to stick it together, you can just use some water. But because I did make that corn flour mixture, we can just use that again and just very lightly brush along the sides. And then we're going to squeeze that together. So lift it up into a triangle And you want to take as many of the air bubbles out, because if there's air bubbles in there, then they may split as they boil. So you could leave that as is, or you can go one step further and fold it on itself. So we'll just add a little bit of that corn flour mixture. That's going to act as the glue. Flip that around, and it almost looks like a little tortellini. And that's the first little dumpling made. So I'll make a few more of these, and then we can start cooking them. Dumplings are done. You can see that I've placed a clean, damp tea towel over them. You don't want them to dry out, so it's a good little tip to have this on standby. And now we can put the whole dish together. So have some water boiling. I've got some wonton noodles here, or any skinny noodle that you like. We're going to add a big handful of these into the water, and these will just take moments to cook. So just make sure that they're completely submerged. And while they're cooking, we're going to add a little bit of our beautiful chili dressing to the base of a bowl. So the whole idea is just to mix it all together, and everything's going to be nice and warm, so it's going to absorb all the flavours. To the noodles, I'm going to add some Chinese broccoli, and we'll put that to one side. And you can see the noodles have sort of fattened up a little bit, so they're ready to go. We'll grab our sauce, and we're going to place our noodles on top. Now, I don't mind if some of that starchy water mixes in with this dressing, because it's just going to make it really glossy and bring the whole thing together. And we'll just take our broccoli out for now. Don't pop it on yet, because I want to mix this. So we'll just place that onto the board, and we can add our dumplings. Now, the mixture in the dumplings are cooked already, so essentially we're just wanting to cook the wonton wrappers. So pop that into the water. Now I'm going to get our spring onions ready. So I want the darker part of the spring onions for this, and again, finely slice it. Fantastic. Okay, now that the noodles have been sitting in that delicious sauce, we can mix it together. So just a spoon and a fork, and we're going to toss that. Oh, look at that. All that chili. Mix it up. And you can see why it's called dried noodles, because it's not swimming in sauce. It's just a little bit of sauce that's absorbed by those noodles. But if you know me, you know I like lots of sauce, so I am going to add just a little bit more to serve it. Not so it's swimming in it, just a small amount over the top. This, to make it extra special, we've got that gorgeous duck leg, so we'll serve that on the side. You want to show off the noodle, so don't cover it up too much. To that, we'll add our broccoli and these gorgeous dumplings. Have a look at that. I love dumplings on their own, but even better with noodles and all of this lovely sauce. So we'll add 3 or 4, and we'll pop them along the side. Now, those spring onions that I chopped up, we'll add them. But I want some texture here, so I like to add some crispy fried shallots too, and a lot of them. So we'll pop that on one side. So there you go. That's my version of a very traditional Malaysian dish using duck. I love noodles, but then you add noodles with dumplings on top of it, even better.